Good morning, everyone. أهلا وسهلا بالجميع. Today we're so proud that we're here all together despite all the impact of COVID-19. We're here to launch a new project in collaboration and in partnership with HSBC. Thank you for everyone who have joined us today. Thank you for everyone who's watching our live on the different social media channels. Today we're very proud to launch a new project and a new collaboration with HSBC to support the low-income workers in GCC and Egypt. Today we're so proud to launch the Saving for Good initiative by INJAZ Al-Arab and HSBC. Today, I would like to welcome everyone that is with us on this Zoom link, the panelists that I will introduce them later on when we have our panel discussion. I would like to welcome our HSBC partners and colleagues, and I also would like to welcome INJAZ member nations from across the region who are part of this grant and who are watching us live now. I also would like to extend our gratitude and sincere thank you to the media representatives who are joining us today and always together with us and helping and supporting the INJAZ mission across the region. I will start with a short video to introduce the INJAZ network, and we'll come back to the live. As we always say at INJAZ, we believe in the power of partnership. And this power of partnership brought us today together with HSBC. HSBC is a leading financial institution that has been supporting and believing in the INJAZ mission since years on a global level, regional level, and a local level. Without any further ado, I would like to welcome Ms. Sabreen Rahman, the representative of HSBC and also a regional board member of INJAZ Al-Arab. So please, Sabreen.
Thank you, Tamer. And good morning, everyone. And thank you for joining us today as we launch the pilot of our new financial capability flagship program across the UAE, Egypt, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Qatar in partnership with INJAZ Al-Arab. And this program is very, very close to our hearts and is dedicated to the low-income community and has really been designed to help build their financial resilience as a part of our sustainability future skill strategy. I think it's fair to say that low-income individuals around the world, and particularly here in the Middle East, can be highly vulnerable to social upheaval and economic shocks, as many times they may not have safety nets. And we can see that with the added context of a global pandemic that we've been facing over the last 18 months, it's increasingly important that everyone, irrespective of their income level, has access to support and education that will strengthen their resilience to such future shocks and stresses without compromising their own welfare and their ability to take care of their families. Evidence suggests that well-designed financial products and services play an important role in increasing not only resilience by guiding on areas such as risks, savings, and investment, but also how to respond when a shock does occur. This is exactly what we're aiming to achieve through Saving for Good in partnership with INJAZ. As Tamer mentioned, we've been proud partners and supporters of INJAZ Al-Arab for many years, and we're confident of the expertise that they will bring to this program. I look forward to seeing the impact of this project, and I'm excited that through collaborations such as these, we will be able to together build a much more financially resilient community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sabrine, and please allow me to thank you personally. Being as a regional board member, you've been supporting the INJAZ mission since years, and you've been also collaborating on so many levels with us on a regional and on a local level. And thanks also to your team, and especially for Dominique, for all the support that you have extended. Today, we're actually entering a new era with the HSBC, and we're joining forces together to support, as you have just mentioned, the low-income community and equip them with the financial literacy education needed to save their future. Thank you so much, Sabrine. And now I will give the floor to Mr. Akif Al-Aqrabawi, the official representative of INJAZ Al-Arab, to deliver his welcoming remarks. Akif, good morning.
Here we go. Thank you, Tamer. Good morning, everyone. It's my greatest pleasure joining you today to introduce and launch the Saving for Good initiative, a crucial partnership between INJAZ Al-Arab and HSBC that aims at empowering and upskilling low-income workers with financial literacy skills in GCC and Egypt. As we all know, COVID-19 came with major disruption to so many businesses globally. And to slow the pandemic spread globally, governments had to take safety measures and procedures that require social distancing, and in some countries, stay-at-home orders. And although all of these measures were very much needed and important for public health, they had negative economic impact to so many businesses, households, individuals, specifically those who have lower incomes. So the pandemic hurt them the most. I do believe that such an initiative will add great value to those who got affected by the pandemic, by the crisis, and I do believe that this should become a mandate for governments, private sector, and non-profit organization to play a major role in equipping, upskilling, and empowering low-income workers with needed skills and to have them career skills, and not only to the global crisis that will open new horizons for them in the future. I'd like to end by saying that we are really so proud of our partnership with HSBC, a partnership that has spread over 11 years and filled with significant outstanding achievements and milestones. So thank you so much, HSBC, for your continuous and steadfast support to INJAZ Al-Arab in this region, and we look forward to a continued partnership and collaboration in the future. I'd like to extend a big thank you as well to my colleagues from the member nations and INJAZ Al-Arab, Tamer and Dalia. Thank you for the great effort, and wishing you all the best in the upcoming implementation of the initiative. Sabrine, Paul, Dominique, and all HSBC team who has been behind this initiative from the early beginning, thank you so much for the fundamental role you have played to make this initiative possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Akif. I echo you. Definitely, we're so proud of launching this initiative in partnership with 5 INJAZ member nations, and with a big dream and vision that this partnership will grow in the near future and will cover different countries and different regions. As you may all know, that more than 25 million foreigners live in the GCC countries, representing 70% of the total GCC workforce. In order to get more information about the Saving for Good initiative, what the objectives are, what the expected outcomes are, and what is the implementation timeline and the duration of this project, and what are the main learning touch points that each participants and beneficiary will go through. And to get more information on that, I would like to introduce my colleague Dalia Al-Ashhab, the Regional Partnerships and Development Lead at INJAZ Al-Arab, to give you more information on this. Dalia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Tamer, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. I'm very proud to be part of this initiative and to walk you through the project's objectives and life cycle. So, as you all know, in the past couple of years, the Gulf Cooperation Council states have aggressively responded to COVID-19 by introducing strict quarantine measures and travel bans. This has affected the fate of low-income workers in the GCC, most of whom are migrant workers. Millions of low-income workers across the Gulf fear for their health and job security, including their salaries, especially that many employers withhold their wages or consider layoffs. Some of these workers have been prevented from returning home, and they were put in unpaid leave until further notice. Such outcomes have very heavy consequences at their families. Likewise, in Egypt, people at the margins of society are suffering the most due to COVID. The share of the population living below the poverty line has been rising, and around 2.7 million jobs were lost between April and June, mainly in manufacturing, tourism, and construction. So, in response to all of this, INJAZ Al-Arab and HSBC have partnered together to offer a demand-driven initiative to low-income workers in the GCC and in Egypt, in an effort to equip them with skills and options to respond to such crises in the future and better manage their financials. It will provide them with self-development opportunities that will enable them to improve their quality of life. This initiative, the project, it will be implemented in Bahrain, Egypt, Kuwait, Qatar, and the UAE. Through this initiative, 1,950 low-income workers will receive capacity building training, supporting financial capabilities and risk management. It will be an educational continuum over 3 phases. The first one is going to be a financial literacy program. The second one will be customized training sessions, and the last one is a mentorship journey. We will have a total of 80 to 100 corporate sector HSBC volunteers. They will be engaged in these 5 countries to lead program delivery. And we are aiming at having at least 30% of the total beneficiaries open savings accounts by the end of the project. Now, zooming in on the project cycle, the 5 participating countries have already identified the beneficiaries by forming partnerships with companies. In Bahrain, we have Al-Muayyad Cleaning and Maintenance. In Egypt, we have National Council for Women. In Kuwait, we have Ashkenani Store Company. Qatar, we have Al-Jayda Group. And UAE, we have Zo Easy Solutions. In addition to this, the countries have formed partnerships with local financial bodies who will lead the delivery of the second phase of the education continuum. Next week, the project will officially start with each INJAZ chapter holding TLT sessions for HSBC volunteers in its country, after which the volunteers will start delivering the sessions of the financial literacy program in September and October. The program will be delivered in 6 sessions. Each session is 2 hours, and it basically tackles basic financial skills and concepts such as earning money, spending it wisely, budgeting, and saving. Moving forward, in the first 2 weeks of November, we moved to the second phase of the project. The financial bodies with whom the INJAZ chapters formed partnerships will deliver 2 customized training sessions to the beneficiaries based on local regulations and laws. The main objective of this is to provide hands-on skills related to money transfer, managing savings accounts, and financial planning, in addition to how this financial planning will support them in case of crisis, illness, or job loss. Now, moving to the final stage of the project, participants will be enrolled in a 6-month mentorship journey with HSBC volunteers to follow up on program deliverables and to ensure that they are in line with the project's objectives. Finally, by the end of this mentorship journey, we envision having at least 30% of the total beneficiaries open and properly manage their savings accounts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dalia, for this project overview. And we hope that not only 30% of the beneficiaries open saving accounts, but we hope that the impact of this program will not be limited to the targeted beneficiaries, but it will also be more open to their families and to more low-income workers in the GCC and Egypt. And now I would like to invite and introduce the panelists for today. We have an important panel on building better the importance of financial literacy for low-income workers in the Arab world. And before introducing my panelists and welcoming them to this launch event, please allow me to refer to some statistics and numbers on the low-income workers in the GCC and Egypt. As you all know, lower-income workers who have been prevented اوكي الانترنت Hello, can you hear me? Okay, I'm really sorry for that technical error. We had some connectivity issue because today in Jordan they're launching they're announcing the marks of the high school degree. So we have some connectivity issues. So returning to our panel, and before introducing the panelists, I was referring to some numbers and statistics to support the low-income workers in the GCC and Egypt. And according to the migrant rights, there have been also reports about an increasing number of workers being put on unpaid leave until further notice, which is an outcome that may have heavy consequences for the workers, the families at home. And 95% of the workers in the GCC countries who are active in the domestic and the construction sectors are migrant workers. In Bahrain, Qatar, and the UAE, the majority of the population comprises foreign laborers with an estimate percentage of 80%. If we zoom into Egypt, we find that income inequality is rising, which with the gap between the rich and the poor widening, while official poverty rates indicate national poverty levels to be 32.5%, where the World Bank estimates that 60% of the population are poor. Inequality across the region is sharp. Poverty level in Egypt's poorest villages are as high as 81.7%. And now please allow me to talk more about the low-income workers, the impact of COVID-19, and how the private sector companies have responded and reacted to that crisis. Please allow me to welcome the panelists, and I will start with Mr. Paul Cox. He's the Head of Customers and Products, Wealth and Personal Banking at MENA and Turkey at HSBC.
Good morning, everyone. So delighted to be here and launching such a worthwhile cause. We are, I guess, a little blessed at HSBC. We have a very long-standing commitment to supporting the communities in which we operate across the world, Middle East being no different. Our colleagues are regularly engaged in charitable giving, skilled and volunteering, and providing financial services, and in this instance, I guess, financial knowledge for those who are less fortunate than ourselves. And as Tama mentioned, this is by no means our first project with INJAZ Al-Arab. And as Akef alluded to, we've been partnering with INJAZ across the region now for more than a decade, primarily focusing on supporting the youth and building their financial capabilities, but now extending that through this program, which we're delighted to be partnering with INJAZ today. I think the key thing for me on this is financial capability, and what does that mean in terms of providing security, in terms of providing just basic skills and knowledge and the tools needed to allow individuals to manage their money more effectively. And this is why co-designing the Saving for Good initiative in partnership with INJAZ was so important to us here at HSBC. And I think, look, unfortunately, we see the impact of financial illiteracy every day, the stress that it causes, the difficulties, the conflict. And therefore, we identified this specific need to build some financial resilience for the most vulnerable in our communities, with the express aim of helping people, as I say, less fortunate than ourselves, develop some of those skills for employment and for the basic financial knowledge they need to survive and then go on to potentially thrive as they go through their journey. I think it's been mentioned a couple of times by Tama, COVID has had a marked impact on low-income workers, particularly where they were exposed due to their lack of basic knowledge around their finances and building some form of security for themselves. And if you combine that with the increasing complexity of the financial system, it becomes clear that strengthening financial knowledge and skills in our communities is going to be a critical feature and future success for any nation in terms of building their their future financial stability. It's a little bit like reading and writing, I guess. Financial education just impacts the well-being of every individual, and therefore becomes part of the economic and social fabric of our communities. So therefore, that's why we're so delighted Saving for Good is going to be just a great example on how we can start tackling some of these issues and bringing them into the light. So we at HSBC, we've been supporting low-income workers for many years in many different ways. So we've had iftar meals, market fair, which was one of our personal favorites, which is a shopping-based experience where we provide hygiene packs, things that most people we would certainly take for granted in terms of bedding, food, clothing. And we also recently launched a collaboration with Emirates Green Building Council relating to the responsible labour practices, which is a training program aimed at employers and as an introduction to socially responsible practices relating to their workers' welfare and financial well-being. So hopefully that will form part of this program and cascade out the benefits for all. So I think, look, in summary, we're incredibly proud to be launching this program with INJAZ. We hope that, and feel that it will have a real and material impact in changing people's lives, certainly for the better. And it's certainly our ambition that it will gain significant momentum and become part of the way that HSBC and INJAZ continue to positively influence the communities in which we serve. Thank you, Tamer.
Paul, and we believe that this project is not a project, it's a kind of a vision and a belief by HSBC and by INJAZ, and I also believe that it's a vision by all the partner companies that we have for today. But moving to the next speaker, I would like to introduce Engineer Amr Sulaiman, and he is a board member of the National Council for Women in Egypt, the Financial Inclusion Chapter. صباح الخير أستاذ عمر, welcome to this panel, and thank you so much for joining us today and for taking part to support and empower low-income workers in Egypt.
Thank you very much, Tamer. Thank you, honorable guests, for this kind invitation. I cannot agree more that the coronavirus certainly had extreme negative impact on all business sectors actually across the world. And this negative impact probably was intensified for the informal sector, as all of you have mentioned before me, and certainly those working in the micro, small and medium enterprises, especially women, as they belong to the most vulnerable groups. The Egyptian government and the National Council for Women have done a lot of works ever since the beginning of this pandemic, early in March 2020, and we have taken a lot of measures in terms of assisting women around the governorates of Egypt to try as much as possible to alleviate all these issues that women have been going through. We have done a lot of studies, a lot of surveys, we have a lot of information and data that have actually moved us along this year to try to unleash all these issues with the women that we are working with. And we have been working very closely with the Central Bank of Egypt actually on a strategy for financial education and financial literacy. As Mr. Paul Cox was saying, I cannot agree more that certainly financial education and financial illiteracy in these times have become extremely important for all the society and the communities actually, let alone the less privileged workers and women. To be enabled and to be enhanced with the financial institutions to reach out to services, especially with digital financial services. We have seen a lot of movement that had happened to the online business world. Certainly the less privileged are not so connected. So basically we are doing a lot of work right now on a national strategy with the central bank to reach out to rural women, to start to introduce e-commerce platforms, to introduce digital payments and the likes, to actually include all these women and to make sure that they are not left out in very tough times that as we have all been through across the globe. Yes. I'm very happy actually to hear about this project and to be partners with INJAZ Al-Arab and HSBC with the National Council for Women to reaching out through your programs with our people. So I really look forward to working with you all. As I said, the National Council for Women is very keen on financial education and digital financial services capabilities in the next year or two. And one of the major projects that we are working on is digitalizing the group saving or the saving groups for women in a way where we are including all these women within the banking sector. So we are also working with multiple national banks who have opened their doors to all women to actually open group accounts and to transact and to assist women to reach microfinance institutions and other means of financing across the country. So I cannot agree more, and I'm very happy, as I said, to be part of this. Thank you, INJAZ Al-Arab. Thank you, HSBC, for this initiative, and we really look forward to cooperate together on all this. Thank you very much, Tamer.
Thank you so much, Ustaz Amr. We actually believe that in Egypt, it's a kind of a national movement to support low-income workers who have been not only affected by COVID-19, but low-income workers in general. This is great to partner with the National Council for Women, because focusing on women in Egypt, and especially low-income workers from the women category, actually gives the project more of weight and an impact. So thank you so much, and we'll get back to you throughout the panel. And moving to my third guest and panelist, Ms. Spandana Palayopa, and you're the founder and the CEO of Zoeasy Solutions in the UAE. So first of all, welcome to this panel. Thank you so much for taking part in this initiative. We really appreciate the value that you will bring into this project in the UAE. So my question to you, that low-income workers in the UAE make a big percentage out of the total workforce. As the founder and the CEO of Zoeasy Solutions, and from your own experience and perspective, why did you take part in this program, first of all? And how do you think the impact of this program will help sustain low-income workers in your company in specific?
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today. So I'm just a brief introduction before kind of getting into the question. My name is Spandana, and I'm the founder and CEO of Zoeasy, which is a platform that looks at educating and matching migrant blue-collar job seekers within the UAE to ethical employment opportunities. And we've been doing this for the last 3 to 4 years now, and have been able to generate a database of up to 65,000 job seekers in the process. Very, very happy to be able to support INJAZ Al-Arab and HSBC in order to be able to deliver this program to a multitude of job seekers and existing employees within the UAE. I believe that this is a very, very important initiative, not just because of the current situation that we're in, but because of the fact that we've been able to interact with so many job seekers and so many people within the migrant blue-collar community for a long period of time. And we realized that financial literacy is actually something that's been missing for a while now. Many blue-collar job seekers, many people within this community actually face issues in terms of how to budget themselves. How do they set aside savings for themselves while being able to support their families back home? And there have also been challenges where sometimes people can feel pressured to send quite a big chunk of their salary back when not having enough over here for themselves to be able to support and survive. And this is something that's been missing for a long time now, and it has come up as a need from several job seekers that I've spoken to. Many people actually bring this up as a concern because they don't really know how to manage their funds or how to balance themselves out in relation to this. And moreover, the pandemic adding to that, unfortunately, many people were sent on unpaid leave. It's a very unfortunate situation. But because of that lack of training and access to that kind of knowledge, many people were not able to save as much as they could to be able to support themselves here while their family has resources back home. So I think it's extremely important for an initiative like this, and I'm very happy to see that HSBC and INJAZ Al-Arab are bringing together such a comprehensive plan that is not just a one-off workshop that informs job seekers and informs people in the migrant blue-collar community of these tools, but is more of a continuous process where you provide them with the right tools, but you also guide them as to how to be able to use these tools, how to implement it over a longer period of time, and eventually will be able to set up a strong savings account for themselves, which is something that has been a challenge for many people in the past. But glad to see that it's now getting better, and we're very happy to support on that front.
Thank you so much, Spandana. We really appreciate it, and we'll come back to you throughout the panel. And moving to my fourth panelist, Mr. Imad Al-Khaja, CEO of INJAZ Qatar. Good morning, Imad, and thank you for joining this panel, being the representative of the INJAZ network and one of the chapters that will be mainly involved in implementing this project in Qatar. So my question to you, Imad, we have noticed the increase in the labor flows in the past 5 years, and it was mainly driven by mega construction projects in Qatar, such as the FIFA World Cup 2022 stadium being built across Qatar, in addition to other jobs. And INJAZ, and especially INJAZ Qatar, has been building the financial capability of youth in Qatar since years, in addition to connecting them with leading private sector companies for real job shadowing. From your position as the CEO of INJAZ Qatar, how do you see this program helping you as an organization fulfill your mission and building new partnerships with national and regional companies? Please, Imad.
Great. First of all, thank you very much, Tamer, for having me today. This is very exciting for INJAZ, not just INJAZ Qatar, for INJAZ Network, as this initiative is quite an expansion for our existing mission. I have to also thank HSBC for initiating this project and also all the employers that are partaking in this in the 5 countries that are part of this program. Before I start answering your question, adding to the statistics that you and Dalia have mentioned, yes, there is a huge increase in number of especially construction workers in Qatar. Out of the 2 million of non-Qatari employees in Qatar are considered of below high school education level, which means that 85% of them are basically in construction, blue-collar laborers, machine operators, craftsmanship, and that's a huge segment of the population. And I have to say that, you know, without sugarcoating anything, I think that it is a neglected segment of the population. And that's why there were a lot of efforts, especially in the past 5 years. I'm talking here about Qatar. There were a lot of efforts when it comes to labor rights that that the government has been focusing on. Things such as healthcare, sponsorship system, the wage protection systems that have been implemented in Qatar. So there were a lot of efforts to help this segment of the important segment of the population. I think one of the recent initiatives as well was by the Qatari Central Bank, which is the National Framework of Financial Inclusion, which INJAZ Qatar is proudly a member of as well. And that's the side that we would like to focus on, which is the educational and awareness side. I think that overall, when it comes to financial literacy, I think that INJAZ's network has been spearheading a lot of efforts when it comes to focusing on educational process and youth. Like I said at the beginning, I think this initiative is an expansion of our existing mission, and that will help us partake in this ecosystem to create a healthier economy. I think that we have the know-how, we have a lot of tools, and there's a huge demand. And I do believe that we can achieve a lot. This is a pilot program, like you've mentioned, and I really hope that this will spark a lot of interest for more and more employers to partake in this initiatives. And I was also thinking that this could also spark interest in different segments of the population that also have huge need and demand for financial inclusion, financial literacy, retired people or stay-at-home moms. There's a lot that we can do as INJAZ. This is a great start, and I really hope that this continues. And I can't thank enough HSBC for initiating this project.
Thank you so much, Imad. And definitely, I cannot agree more, because yes, this is an expansion of the INJAZ mission across the region, and we're entering, as I have said in the beginning, we're entering a new era, especially with the change of our model from B2B to B2C. So now we're reaching more community members, and we're positively impacting more citizens and also low-income workers. And now moving to my next guest and panelist, Mr. Younes Al-Sharif, Operations Manager at Al-Muayyadi Cleaning and Maintenance Company in Bahrain. صباح الخير أستاذ مؤيد.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Al-Muayyadi Cleaning and Maintenance is a leading company in Bahrain in its field, and you employ also a large number of low-income workers at your organization and your company. So my question to you, how did you react to the impact of COVID-19 on this specific segment, and how do you think your role in this project will also complement the efforts of the Bahraini government in supporting and saving low-income workers in Bahrain?
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me for this here. As regarding with your question, as you told me, as you informed that we are one of the leading company in Bahrain, we had ensured that we deposit the salary of the labor on time without any deduction. Also, who were affected with this COVID, they received the salary, the free medical, everything. The pandemic has been tough on all of us with the uncertainty it brought along. I think this initiative by INJAZ Al-Arab is much needed, and it helps low-income workers understand how to handle their finances better. Financially, literally, will help these workers stay prepared for these uncertain situations like the one we are facing, and empower them to stay financially independent. I thank the entire team of INJAZ Al-Arab for choosing to bring this project for this noble cause. I thank you so much for this one.
Thank you so much, and I'm really sorry, Mr. Younes Al-Sharif. Maybe I said the name wrongly. So, Mr. Younes Al-Sharif, Operations Manager at Al-Muayyadi Cleaning and Maintenance Company in Bahrain. Thank you so much, and we're really proud of having Al-Muayyad Company as a partner with us. And moving to the next panelist, Mr. Ali Ashkanani, the General Manager of Ashkanani Store Company in Kuwait. صباح الخير أستاذ Ali, and my question to you is, as a leading private sector company in Kuwait, how do you evaluate the mix of saving for good program activities on targeted beneficiary, and what is your message to the private sector in our region when it comes to empowering and supporting low-income workers? The floor is yours, Mr. Ali.
Good morning, and thank you for this program. I think the program Saving for Good came in an important time after an unexpected pandemic, which is, in my opinion, will not be the last one. I'm sorry for this dystopian point of view, but I think all workers and employees should have a plan B right now and use whatever weapon they can have to not just survive, but to live in good conditions in the future. And of course, there is no better than knowledge and saving or planning as a weapon for that. Because this pandemic came without any sign, without any warning, and no one can say that this will not happen again in the future. For the private sector, I think the private sector should change their point of view of seeing these employees as replaceable parts. The pure capitalism point of view not always working, and they should invest more and their employee, and because this will be the best invest for the future, because they will gain a lot of it in the future. After closing the airport in Kuwait because of the pandemic, for the expat, of course, not for the citizen here in Kuwait, all business now faces an issue with hiring the laborers and low-income employees regards the scarcity and high demand in the market, especially after the situation getting better now in Kuwait. So the average wages increased by 40 to 50% for that. And even though the people can't find the laborers, only the companies and institutions who are treating their employees as a part of the family and invested on them before and treat them like a real persons and a part of the family of the company, not facing this problem, or at least not facing it in a serious way. So this is what I'm thinking the private sector should do, and the indication that we're having from the market right now should be enforce this what can I say, this active way that should all companies do.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ali, for this, and we look forward to our partnership in Kuwait to support and impact low-income workers. And if we stay on this screen with all the panelists together, before going or moving to my last question to you all, I would like to thank all the audience that are watching us on the different social media channels live on INJAZ Al-Arab and also on the different INJAZ member nation channels. And we have like a great interaction and feedback, and we have some questions from also the media representatives who are with us today, and some others who will also do their magic on media to cover and to market this great initiative across the region. So the first question is for you, Paul, and we had a question about the expansion of this project. Is there any future plans of expanding this project to cover different countries? I believe we have covered this in the beginning, and we said that yes, but the question is for you, so the floor is yours.
Yeah, so absolutely. We have as I say, a long tradition in terms of our support of the communities in which we operate. So this will be the bedrock, the testing ground for us. And assuming it goes the way that we expect it to, and it gains the momentum as part of the vision that we would like to do, and brings the success that we would like, and adds the value to the individuals that we expect it to, then yes, absolutely, we would certainly look to expand it into different countries.
Thank you so much. Mr. Amr Sulaiman, the next question is for you, and I think there was someone from Egypt asking, this initiative will be limited for women at this time, or in its pilot phase in Egypt through you and your organization?
Yes, I understand that this pilot project is actually directed in Egypt for rural women mainly, and it's going to be part of a bigger national program that we are implementing with the central bank, as I said, for digitalizing the women saving group. And this is a great opportunity actually to train the trainer also for all our supervisors who are dealing with about 250,000 women, rural women on the ground, to pass on this very important knowledge and education to eradicate this kind of illiteracy moving forward. So yes, it will be for women, and I'm very positive that this will be have a grand impact, and we look forward that women bring all this knowledge to the households in general. So we're not cutting through any men here or anything, but I believe this is an excellent channel that will pass on the message and the knowledge. So we look forward to that.
No, actually, we're proud of this, and we hope that the pilot phase in Egypt and across the different 4 other countries will have a great and positive impact, so we can expand it in the future. So Iman, there is a question for you, and there is a question about how will you outreach and recruit the targeted beneficiaries? We know that you have an employer company and a partner company, but there is a question if anyone from other companies would like to join this program.
Oh, absolutely. I also would like to thank Al Jada Group for showing a lot of interest in joining us, and they also board members at INJAZ Qatar. But the door is always open for more and more employers to join us, and I think HSBC will support that idea as well, since this is the whole purpose of this program. Through this platform, I do encourage a lot of companies that if that's something you would like to target, and if that's something you want to initiate, please do reach out Our door is open. We would like to collaborate with you, and we'll make it happen. And as I said, this is just the beginning. This is a pilot. And since our mission is expanding, so this is now part of our mission, and we do want to focus on this segment of the population. So by all means, this is something we would like to focus on. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So please follow INJAZ Al-Arab and INJAZ member nations digital channels to know more about the program and any future plans. And I would like to take this opportunity also, Imad, to thank the leadership team of the INJAZ member nation, INJAZ Kuwait represented by Layla Mtairi, INJAZ UAE represented by Razan Bashiti, INJAZ Egypt represented by Marwa Mursi, and INJAZ Bahrain represented by Hana Sirwani for their efforts and because they also will be implementing the project along with INJAZ Qatar. So the last question is for you, Ali, Yunus, and Spandana. And there is a question, if you have any privileges that you would give the participants from your companies who will participating in this project. So do you have any plans? So will you, for example, allow them to take from their working hours to participate in the different activities, either with the financial literacy education, the mentorship program that they will be enrolled in, along with HSBC volunteers? So the question is for the three of you. So anyone who would like to start, the floor is yours.
Okay, I will start. Of course, I'm not gonna let them take an extra hours or from their private hours, because I'm investing in them, and I believe this step will, I'm gonna get gain from that later, or at least this is my duty toward my employees. If we didn't do business in this way, I think at the first opportunity, and anyone will come for anyone with them with slight better offer with the salary, they're gonna leave the company. But because the company is providing them with many features, not only the salaries, I think this will be a good power for the company and for the employee to stay with us. And as you know, it's to have a new employee and teach him all the system again. So I will invest in that, and they will take from the working hours, of course.
Thank you so much, Ali. And this is the long-term vision and the plan of the Saving for Good initiative, because we would like to teach them how to sustain their living and how to sustain their jobs, because it will positively impact their families at home. So Spandana, the question is also directed to you from your position as the CEO of ZoEasy in Dubai.
Absolutely. So just a quick FYI, actually. So this is a database of job seekers that we've generated because we help them find ethical employment opportunities. So our aim is to connect them with the right employers to work with who, for example, don't overwork them and ensure that, you know, they only work 8 hours a day as opposed to 10 to 12 hours a day. Unfortunately, I'm not the deciding factor in terms of whether they'll be able to do this program during their work hours. But what I can say is that we can definitely advocate this with the employers that we've worked with so far, just to let them know that, you know, this is a program that can benefit their current employees, and they'll be able to kind of make a better life for themselves and to be able to support themselves better and give back to their firms as well. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. And so that's definitely something that we can advocate for.
Thank you so much, Spandana. And Mr. Yunus, the floor is yours if you would like to add.
Yeah, as Ms. Spandana has told, this is very difficult to do in the working hours. Anyways, we will be happy to serve them better. I am not the right person to answer this question. Maybe I have to come back to you on this. Thank you for this question.
Thank you so much, actually, because you have this mindset and this mentality and you believe in this project, and that's why you're here. So whatever decision you will take, we're more than confident that it will positively impact the targeted beneficiaries. And I believe that by now we have reached the end of this panel discussion. I would like to thank all the panelists, Mr. Paul, Mr. Amr, Mrs. Spandana, Mr. Imad, Mr. Ali, and Mr. Yunus. Thank you so much for being with us today. We value your time and we appreciate the collaboration that we have between INJAZ and all of you. Thank you so much. And if you have any question, if you would like to just say a last message, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Tamer. Thank you very much, Tom. I really appreciate this.
Thank you so much, and thank you. يعطيكم العافية. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we have reached the end of this launch event for Saving for Good. We believe that this project will create a great impact on the targeted beneficiary. We believe that because of this great power of partnership with the different stakeholders and the different partners, we will be able to do good and give back to those low-income workers who have been affected by COVID-19. And we don't only limit our vision to the direct impact, but we also look at the indirect impact and the greater impact on regional and local and on a regional level. I would like to thank again all the media representatives who have joined us today, INJAZ member nations, the HSBC definitely on top of all for their support and their contribution and their belief in this project and the collaboration with INJAZ Al-Arab, for all the partner companies and for all the financial bodies on a local level who will be supporting this project moving forward. And my last message would be to the HSBC volunteers who will be leading the program execution moving forward to the targeted beneficiaries. We really appreciate your time and we look up for you, our heroes. Thank you so much. Thank you for the INJAZ Al-Arab team and for the HSBC team who have made this happen. Thank you so much, and please stay tuned on INJAZ Arab digital channels to keep updated and to keep yourself updated with the different news and upcoming events. Thank you so much. يعطيكم ألف عافية.